And then she fulfills the sexual ingredient of the final girl, the survivor girl, you know, the ingenue in Jeopardy.
That's very good at. Yes, okay. Next question, yeah.
So almost like
Thank you,
she's triggers into all those archetypes, you know, of the young girl to be saved, then becomes a warrior, you know, the young
But
archetypes.
more than the intellectual or academic archetype, there's the popular culture archetype. Someone that reminds you of Jean-Paul Belmondo. You know, there's somebody here at this show.
Stop it.
No.
Stop it.
Costas.
Costas, huh?
In his younger days, brought
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah.
Jean-Paul Belmondo. He brought that, and even though he never said it out loud, we thought it in the back of our mind. And you see that with other actors. There's a collectiveness. And you know how they say there's a missing ingredient sometimes? We, like in Hollywood, no one has ever replaced Cary Grant. Ever. The closest we come is George Clooney, you know. But that's it. But we lose these certain people. Now, who replaces Jimmy Stewart? Tom Hanks. See, it's that archetype, but it's also a memory of a big, tall guy, you know, with a sense of humor.
With a certain aura.
Yes,
Yeah,
you need
certain
to have
ideas,
that, yeah. But there's others that have not been replaced. We've never replaced Fonda. We've never replaced Brando, you know. It's just, it's weird how there's certain things missing. She has a question.
Yes, next question, please.
The movie Pinocchio is coming out and you give your voice cricket. I wonder how many times, how many days you were in the tone studio for that, giving your voice to the cricket.
The young lady is talking about Pinocchio Unstrung. And Pinocchio, by Colucci, is an Italian, obviously, folk tale and fairy tale, very popular book. And then it was Disney made it a huge success in the 20th century as an animated cartoon, which has infected most people, unless you go to Italy and you see in every little village there's a toy store that has little Pinocchios in the window, which are like dolls for children. But we did, since all of those stories, like the Brothers Grimm and all the others, they're in the public domain now, which means you don't have to pay for their rights. They're free. Anybody can make something about Pinocchio or about Hansel and Gretel or Aladdin. It's public domain now. Nobody really owns that story. And so to have fun and to push the envelope and the edge a little bit, there's a series of filmmakers that did the Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie as well, actually.
And they're playing with it because it's fun to play with popular culture and do what I call the mashup, which is taking a couple of things and blending them together. It could be style, it could be characters from different things. And the graphic novel does it a lot that we all love. And the one I did, Pinocchio Unstrung, I'm playing the Jiminy Cricket character from the Disney film, which is in the original, it's just called the Cricket. And he's pretty evil. He's not singing the Walt Disney theme anymore.
So actually in the story,
When you wish upon a star. That's not the way I do it.
Yeah, but how many?
actually he's talking about archetypes. He's a mentor in Pinocchio, Jimmy Cricket. So I guess here you will influence Pinocchio in an evil way, I'd say.
Here's the irony. Here's the irony of me doing this part. My first big break, my first moment of time, 12 and a half years old, Robert Englund, in the suburbs outside of Hollywood, California. I was in a children's theater and I played Pinocchio. And at the age of 12 and a half, going on 13, because I was a star, I was the star, I was Pinocchio. I also was Hansel, and I also was Aladdin, and I also was Peter Pan that summer. And I had never acted before. And all of the other kids were older than me. They were all 15 and 16. They had cars 17, 18 years old. I think there was even a few 19 years old. And I just got in at the bottom to be called a teenager at 12 and a half. And I played Pinocchio, and a famous talk show host came backstage and told me, if you want to do this, kid, you can.
That's nice to go
Adults,
back.
and very few adults do that anymore. But that same summer, I starred in 3 shows. I lost my virginity to an older girl who taught me how to blow smoke rings. And I had advice from the most famous talk show host in America telling me that I could be an actor if I wanted, at the age of 12 and a half.
Closing the loop. Very nice.
Well, yes, closing the loop of Pinocchio. Pinocchio unstrung and unhung.
Okay, next question. It will play at the BIFF, actually. We talked about it will play at the BIFF in 3 weeks from now.
From all the movies you played, which one is your favorite?
I think my favorite film experience, I think it's Stay Hungry, a Bob Rafelson film. He did it right after 5 Easy Pieces, and just before he did the great film with Jessica Lange, The Postman Always Rings Twice. And he did the film Stay Hungry, Jeff Bridges, Sally Field, myself, and I was supposed to only be 6 weeks, and it turned into like 13 or weeks or something like that. So after 6 weeks, all the money I made was just pennies from heaven, you know, it was amazing. But I got to watch Jeff Bridges, who has 3 Oscars. I got to watch Jeff Bridges very closely, and he was still very young. But when you think of his career, Starman, he played the President of the United States.
The dude.
The Big Lebowski. He could do anything, and there's ones we keep forgetting about. But watch Jeff, and every night we would go back to an old motel. They'd put a sheet up on the wall, and over here they'd put up 2 what are the wooden things that when you're working, the 2 people, what do you call the triangular supports in construction, sawhorses, we call them the sawhorses. 2 sawhorses and a door on top. Then they'd put a sheet on top of that, and they put up a bar. There'd be vodka and whiskey and beer and ice, and we'd all sit down every night. Joanna Cassidy sitting right here, the best robot in Blade Runner. Joanna Cassidy. Sally Field, with her hands over her eyes because she'd never done this before. Jeff Bridges, you know, he just rolled a doobie like the Big Lebowski. Bob Rafelson, who had the #1 movie in America out at that time with a new kid named Jack Nicholson. We're all sitting around watching all the work we did the day before. We call it dailies in Hollywood. We're watching the dailies. And the director would talk during the dailies because his editor was there, and he'd say which scenes he liked. But it was all masters. It's not edited together yet. So you see a lot of dead air, all the dead air on yourself. But I learned so much from that experience. And it was a glorious time. And there was a big, giant guy who we all loved on that movie. It was his first movie. And he was a big, giant, sweet teddy bear of a guy. And we thought that he was poor. And he was Austrian. And his name was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And at the end of the movie, we were all going to help him out in Hollywood. And he already, before he did that movie, owned an entire street just south of Santa Monica, one of our urban beach cities. That's how much he had his shit together. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a great businessman already. And this is like 75, I think. 1975. But that experience, all of us eventually becoming stars of a sort, and some of them becoming superstars, but all of us together learning in a city, in the South, on location, with a wonderful director was really a great experience.
Actually, I heard Al Pacino hated to watch dailies because he just hated to watch himself in the dailies. He had to learn that once it's all edited together, they make you look good.
Well, the editor is God. The editor is God. Here's the real reason actors probably shouldn't. Some of us can't control our dreams. And if you see dailies, you see yourself the way you've never seen yourself before. Because it's a master. They don't cut back and forth between you and I. It's just my side. And so if I'm done talking and he's talking, I might bend my nose. Well, that's cut out of the movie. You never see that. But when you see dailies, you see me. I know. So it's very unflattering. It's also empty air, dead air we call it. So when you see that over and over and over again in dailies, it can enter your dream state. You can literally dream that and have that memory. It can infect your dream state, and it's just not healthy, you know.
Yeah.
That's why acting coaches tell you not to go, you know, watch your
dailies.
But now with phones and video assist, everybody's doing it. And here's how it helps you. It helps you understand the frame, which is the picture. Remember, we're moving pictures. The picture and where are you fitting it? Is my face real big down here in the corner? Is it just my shoulder over here? Is this how much of the side of my face is showing? If I come in this door way in the background, is there light behind me so you see me? Should I move like my character so you'll know my character's entering it? All those things. Now, when you go to video assist on a set, you can paint yourself in a little better, and you understand what the cameraman and the director want from you.
All right. One more questions? Yeah. I think we'll take 2 more or something before we go. Yeah. 1, 2. Okay.
Sir? Yeah, in 2017, you voiced one of the famous Batman villains, the Scarecrow, in the